So with that being said, let's go ahead and transition in. So like I was telling you guys, Satheesh, he's a good friend of the Royal Legal family. He's been around for a while. I've done a lot of work with him. And he's got a lot of knowledge around this ideal of multifamily acquisition. So with that being said, Satheesh, if you will, just give us a little background, how did you get into it? What's your day-to-day look like? Tips, tricks, things like that. And kind of once we get the base foundation, we'll open it up for Q&A.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Megan, first of all, and thanks for everyone their time. I think actually Charlie kind of summed it up. What I was going to say, I think we can just close it and go to Q&A. He just kind of nailed it on the head, right? So yeah, I started with single family, and mainly you have much more control on which place you want to purchase, and you have day-to-day, control over what's going on. And I was back in California when I started investing, and you can get any cash flowing asset in California just because of the market, but you can get good single family homes that appreciates double, triple in just a matter of few years. So even in single family, you have, based on the demographics and location, the investment type is different. People outside of California don't understand the California market, and people in California don't understand market in, Tennessee, for example. So, but now in the last few years, it doesn't matter where you bought it. I think, everyone is doing really well. So that's great. But I think back in 2019, I've had around a big accident in one of my single family home, and some car ran through a garage, and thankfully no one got hurt. And that's when I started to realize I can't scale with the single family home. So I gotta find out, whether, there are different ways. There is no bad way to invest in real estate. That's what I would say. So as long as, your exit is not forced, like you have to liquidate, then it might be a bad investment. But as long as you can hold, I don't think, there's, long-term rental, short-term rental, commercial, retail, apartments, everything has its own pros and cons. So basically based on your individual capability is where, you have to invest. So, so I was looking at all other, including self-storage, retail, triple N's. I was looking at all those different types. But multifamily, as in apartments, large apartments came on top of it because of the research I did. Just because of, people need to live in a place regardless of housing market, whether it's a boom or a crash or a recession, or, market is doing well. So in any cases that apartment complex is checked out. So I decided to pursue that as my passion. And the first time, it took me almost 9 months. And obviously, multifamily is a completely different beast compared to the single family home, because it's both real estate and business. So you need to understand, because it's based on your net operating income is the value, based on the cap rate, the value is assumed. So it's a little bit different than single family. It's just not real estate. So you need to have a real good team to actually acquire and manage the asset. So I think that's where most of the people find trouble, because, like Charlie, if you're in Hawaii, you need a boots on the ground. If you're going to look at, Tennessee or Texas, you need a reliable person that can do the due diligence for you and let you know. You can do all the research like population, crime, and everything in internet. It doesn't matter where you are, but, in every city, there is a good part and bad part. It doesn't matter which city it is. So, that just that one street cutting on this side and that side makes a huge difference for property and property values, because tenants prefer to live in one school district versus on the other side of the school district. So all these are, basically, the person who is a local or, who can go often will know that place. So it's a team sport. So there's no, single winner in multifamily. You got to have a team of, lawyers, because for multifamily, especially when you go for larger apartments, it becomes a syndication. So syndication is essentially governed by SEC. So you need to keep all the documents clean and everything, because you're actually selling securities to people. It's not just a regular investment, but they're buying into the LLC that holds the asset. So there's a lot more to learn. So fortunately, I found a partner who's who's in military, but he's a lawyer. So we complement each other in terms of legal stuff. He takes care of that, and I work on underwriting and talking to the insurance companies and do that stuff. So I think the bottom line is just getting good partnership, good team in place to acquire multifamilies. And you like you said, Charlie, the economies of scale is exponential. Basically, in birds, like I spend the same time acquiring 100 units, and right now we are under contract to acquire a 404 unit in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right next to LSU, 5 minutes walk from LSU. And the same work I do for 100 units, and I do for 404 units. So it's just the raise is big, and you need to find more investors. But in terms of lender due diligence, in terms of your due diligence, like hiring the contractors to walk all the units and making sure no stone unturned, in terms of foundation, plumbing, and all this stuff, it's exactly the same work. So the more unit you go, the less work you do per unit, if you see that way, right? So the way I started was actually I was looking at an 8-plex, to jump up from 1 unit to an 8 unit. And me and my friend were looking into Central California to buy it. And that's when it hit me, the 8 units, you go through the same exact work regardless of it's an 8 unit, because anything over 5 is commercial. So if you're getting 5, you're going through the commercial loan, going through the same pain, and the loan is getting the commercial loan is not easy at all. If you've gone through it, it's just because lenders are the biggest investor in your asset, and they are going to ask your DNA and your leg and arm before they are going to fund the 75% of a 45 million deal, obviously. And so I think that's where. So I did 100 unit last year, and then I decided I'm not going to do anything less than 200 for the time and effort that we put in. So fortunately, we've just focused on few markets and got interactions with the brokers and got a pipeline of things that are coming in. I also, had a good partners that we can bounce off ideas and, underwrite and poke holes in our underwriting assumptions. It's a really, if you like business, if you like people, if you like real estate, I think commercial real estate apartments are the way to go. At least that's what my passion is. So that's where I am. And I'm still holding my W-2 because I like that one too. I've been a software engineering leader for almost 20 years, 22 years now. And my W-2 day job is actually I'm a software director in a startup. We're actually digital for cryptocurrencies. We are a custodian, like a BNI Mellon for securities. So I like that. It's an exciting field to be in. So I like that. I'm still holding W-2 as well. So my day is pretty crazy between these deals and W-2, but I enjoy it. So as far as your last questions on the tips and tricks, I think the only thing I would say is, actually 3 of my friends we were starting at the same time, and 2 did not pursue because for these deals, you don't get instant gratification. You got to have grit. You just need to put your effort day in and day out. Sometimes you get a deal in 6 months. Sometimes you don't get a deal until a year and a half. These aren't like buying a single family home. Although, even buying single family home now in Austin or, Dallas is, it takes probably 6 to 9 months, same amount as the, multifamily. So the only trick is just, just make sure that you enjoy this, searching for deals, talking to brokers, building relationships, and just keep doing what, until you get it. That's the only trick, really. There is absolutely no entry barrier. There's nothing. I've known people with, less than $50,000 running multi-million deals because, they don't need to put their own money. They just need to source the deal. So there's no really barrier to entry as long as you have energy and you have, the tools that you need just to, keep going. That's the only thing I would say. But other than that, you just need to really allow to learn and talk to different people and learn. That's all.